Unable to operate the clutch on my mom's car because of my gimpy leg, I was stranded on the outskirts of a college town in the upper Midwest with a harsh winter settling in. I dubbed it the winter of my discontent, and I transformed the house into Healing Central. With my first welfare check, I purchased an exercycle and placed it next to the fireplace. I needed to strengthen my crazy, uncooperative legs. The muscles had completely degenerated. The skin on my left leg was slack where it had once been firm and muscular. I asked my mom to drive me to my old high school twice a week for open swim. I almost drowned with memories of high school, of being healthy and invincible. Meanwhile, I lopsidedly paddled down the lane. Throughout the day, while my mom was at work and my sister was in school, I slowly, methodically practiced moving my spastic, jittery arm and leg, visualizing fluid motion. To amuse myself at this time, I pulled down the manual typewriter and typed letters one-handed, usually to complete strangers. "Dear Walgreens," I'd begin, "what is it about you that makes me feel so good, so happy, so at peace when I'm within your walls? Health products, beauty products, candy, magazines, all equals comfort. Bravo, Walgreens. Keep up the good work." And that was a happy one. Usually it was, "To whom it may concern, save me." In self-imposed exile, my blotchy skin, bloated body, spastic motions, my face blown up 10 sizes, its normal size, because of the steroids, I believed I was not fit for public consumption. This is how I learned to walk again. An ankle weight around my weak ankle, my foot shook and flew from side to side every time I lifted it off the ground. I gripped our fake butcher block kitchen counter and lifted my weighted foot, heel first, slowly, up and down, all day while reading or watching TV. I pulled the draggy heel up to my butt and back down to the floor. Slowly, I needed to stop its trembling and swaying, or I'd sit down and plop the weight across my left toes and lift the top of my foot up and down, up and down. Then eventually, without the weight, toes up, toes down, heel up, heel down, square dancing with myself. It had to be done so slowly. Each jitter and spasm needed to be caught and extinguished. The most therapeutic thing I was doing back then, back in Healing Central, was to channel all of my worry, sadness, fear, anger, and confusion into making art. If you let that combo platter of difficult emotions consume you or define you, you're sunk. Learning to wield a guitar with a sensory-deprived hand, writing lyrics to songs and putting them together and eventually singing them, it was my savior. I was well into my 20s, and it made no sense at all to take up with a guitar in a rock band so late in life with no previous training. But after spending that year on the often excruciatingly gradual road to recovery, anything that made me feel fully alive and present and excited could not be passed up. To my luck, rock and roll is a socially acceptable vessel for anger. It occurred to me that once you get all of those difficult emotions out and channeled creatively, they're out. They have a container, and they don't belong to you anymore. Medicine was once considered more of an art than a science. And to me, art involves a little magic, trial and error, passion, inspiration, vision, and a sense of surprise. Art is creating something from nothing. When in the trenches battling my symptoms of MS, I looked at myself as a whole body and soul, not just a big plaque on my brain. And medicine has come a long way in being able to curtail and alleviate the symptoms of this disease. But it's left up to us to alleviate the stress of being stuck with this disease. Being able to express myself and exercise my MS demons through song and prose writing has been a gift. 103 years ago to this very day, my life changed irreversibly for the worst. But since my diagnosis, I've graduated from college. I followed my dream of being in a rock and roll band for almost a decade. I realized that rock and roll was not what I was cut out to do. I had a child. I earned a master's degree in creative writing. I've become a teacher, and I've published my first book. So don't let this sentence stop you. Instead, use it to drive you toward your dreams. All I can offer you here is my story. And in the act of crafting and creating my story, I derived great pleasure and satisfaction. I teach memoir writing in local schools and try to convince my students that we all have unique stories to tell. And in sharing these stories, we become more connected to the world and to each other. We feel less alone. We feel heard. Not only that, we get to rewrite our own scripts, complete with happier endings. I think it would be presumptuous of me to think that I can offer some form of comfort to anyone dealing with MS. I didn't always handle the situation well myself. I had my share of extended years-long pity parties. But when I share my story with you, I hope you hear that I understand your fear, your discomfort, the desire to hide from this. I understand your embarrassment, frustrations, sometimes your feelings of helplessness and hopelessness. And I want you to know you're not alone. I'd like to encourage you not to get stuck. Even you can move ahead, even if that movement happens only in your head. It also comes from your heart. Thank you very much.